This time, we're covering the M27. Unlocked to level 31, Black Ops 2 marks the M27's first depiction in the Call of Duty series, where it is the 5th assault rifle unlocked. The M27 Infantry Automatic Rifle is a designation given to a variant of the HK-416 design, in turn a descendant of both the American AR-15 and German G-36 designs. It was designed in response to the US Marine Corps' Infantry Automatic Rifle program in 2006, intended to find a modern lightweight weapon capable of filling a squad support role. HK, FN and Colt all offered competing designs, FN's Scar-derived Hammer being the major competitor to the HK-416 in testing. HK's offering came out on top in 2009, earning the M27 designation, named after the 2nd Battalion, 7th Marines, for their involvement in automatic rifle testing. In 2011, the M27 started to enter service, replacing the M249 SAW in a limited user evaluation. While the replacement has seen criticism for its lack of sustained fireability, the M27 does provide reliable automatic performance, and may yet see an expansion of its role. In-game, damage is low. You'll generally need at least 4 shots to kill, or up to 5 at a distance. The M27's effective range is pretty good, however, so you can expect consistent performance, if not impressive per-shot damage. Penetration ability is on par with most other assault rifles. Paired with the lower damage, cutting through cover is not the strongest trait of this weapon. The M27's rate of fire does make up for the lower damage, however. 750 rounds per minute is above average for the assault rifle category. Compared to a typical SMG, output is not that impressive, but hipfire is nonetheless a reasonably effective last-ditch defense. Certainly more effective than most other weapons within the assault rifle class. Low recoil is perhaps the M27's key trait. It is able to place a series of shots into a surprisingly small target at range. The low damage, paired with relatively high output and precision, means that this weapon is very much geared towards combat at a middle to long distance. And while it might lack power, it is not left wanting in the consistency stakes. Otherwise, handling is average for its class. Aim time is relatively quick at just 1/4 of a second, and your mobility is the assault rifle default at 95% of the base speed. Magazine capacity is average, at 30 rounds between reloads. Extended clip will take this to 40 rounds instead. Reloads are swift, at just 2.03 seconds. While not often a problem, the relatively high rate of fire can burn through a magazine quickly without good fire control. Our build with the M27 is all about slowing down the game, forcing your enemy into a more leisurely pace, avoiding the hectic rush of SMGs, and instead holding the enemy at an arm's reach. In doing so, we'll be making the best use of the M27. As a weapon that doesn't perform well in close quarters, anything we can do to avoid such gunfights will do wonders for your longevity. First up is the suppressor. This attachment will keep you off radar when you fire, at the cost of a portion of your effective range and a minor increase to recoil. The downsides aren't too severe, however, as the M27 has a low differential between its maximum and minimum damage, and in cases where you need an extra bullet to kill, it is easily dispensed. The stealth benefit will prove very useful when it comes to avoiding unexpected conflict. Your enemy won't be able to pinpoint your exact position, which will mean you'll find yourself blindsided less often, enhancing your survivability and increasing your odds of attaining the higher streaks. Next up, extended clip offers a duofold benefit. More rounds available on tap and a larger initial starting supply. The former proves useful with the M27's fire rate, as 30 rounds is easily depleted, and the additional 10 may prove decisive when tackling multiple foes at once. The additional supply will mean you won't have to scavenge for more rounds too often, allowing you to hold a critical defensive position for longer. Our perk selection is designed for such long streaks, and our first choice is Hardline. Conferring a 20% bonus to points accrued, this perk ties in nicely with our cautious build, and will help you to attain the higher streaks more often. Next up, BO2 Guía permits 2 choices from the second tier, the first of which will help to reliably swing long-range gunfights in your favour. With the M27's need to land a large number of shots to secure a kill, toughness is a valuable asset, reducing flinch when shot and the odds that your resultant shots will land off target. Second selection in this tier is Scavenger, the ability to resupply ammo and equipment particularly useful in long streaks, as running out and being forced to vacate an otherwise comfortable firing location can end up getting you killed. Tactical Mask is our third tier selection, keeping your sights clear and preventing any enemy from tilting their already skewed close quarter advantage. A Claymore in your lethal slot gives you another layer of insulation, able to cover a doorway until a hapless foe trips the deadly explosion, or until you're otherwise notified of your defense's destruction. Similarly useful, if less lethal, is the Shock Charge. This proximity-based deployable allowing you to cover another angle, shocking those who dare to get too close to your position. Any shocked enemy will prove particularly pliant to your fire, and with Scavenger, you can loot their corpse for another round of defense. That's our build. A slow set of defensive traits, designed to force enemies into gunfights on your terms, well within the M27's comfort zone. Close range aggression with a weapon will nearly always put you at a distinct disadvantage. Taking a more support-oriented tack will play to your strengths, and avoid the loss of gunfights due to poor per-shot damage. And as long as you're being cautious, you may as well shoot for the higher streaks. Edging inch by inch towards the top-tier air support can eventually swing a game in your favour. The M27 is an easy-to-handle assault rifle with low recoil and the potential to reliably hit targets repeatedly over the longer sightlines. The relatively high level of output means you're not dependent on any single shot finding its mark, but instead can benefit from greater consistency in lieu of higher damage. The faster rate of fire also makes the M27 relatively effective from the hip. And while you may need 4 shots to kill, you are far more likely to land these shots than with a slower firing weapon. Of course, the M27 is far from effective up close, principally because of its lower damage. Its time to kill pales when compared to any other SMG or shotgun. It is because of this weakness that you should seek to avoid close-range encounters. Keeping enemies at an arm's reach will greatly enhance your overall performance. In addition, you may struggle to compete against higher damage weapons at range if you're not careful. While you have the ability to accurately direct the 4 or 5 shots needed to kill at range, an enemy sniper need land only a single shot to simply snuff your streak. Still, the M27 is a foolproof option with reach far beyond most other automatic weapons, able to effortlessly tackle distant opponents with a stream of accurate fire. Never mind the hammer. This tack driver will help assemble your advantage, construct your victory, and nail your opposition.